Hello, this is the RPG Crawler, and welcome to another Let's Play, this time of a game from a few years back from Iron Tower Studios, The Age of Decadence. It says it was released in 2017, although I see evidence that it was released in 2015, I guess in early access or something, I'm not sure. Anyway, I have played this game before a while back, but not very far. I basically did just enough to cover it for gameplay purposes. I've been told that it's actually pretty solid, although it is kind of quirky in terms of what you can do to get through to the end. So I do not even know if the character that I have in mind is going to be suitable for a full playthrough. So we will see. This is on request from one of my kind patrons, Duke, who has made a few requests of me in the past. He had requested Underrail, which was on my main channel, and I never finished that, so I may get back to that again. Anyway, if you would like to see more RPG coverage besides just a couple Let's Plays here, I do the occasional Let's Play on my main channel, as well as cover RPG news and tabletop stuff from time to time. I need to do more tabletop stuff there anyway. Let's go ahead and dive right into it with a new game. I'm not going to do training because I'm going to go for character creations. As it says, the Age of Decadence is unforgiving. It doesn't really take much to end up dead. So we will see about that. But I've played with the combat system before because I have played Tunnel Rats a little bit. I'm not terribly good at it, but I understand the basics. And I am not going to be playing a high combat character, although I do understand that there are a few unavoidable combats in the game. So I will leave the tutorial running just to give me heads up from time to time, because it has been a long time since I've played this. Let's just go to next. This is your first time playing the game. It's not, but I've already done the combat tutorial. Name your character, choose a gender, and then select a background. Backgrounds are not classes. They don't restrict or guide the character's future attributes or skills. Your chosen background determines how your game starts and your place in the world, as well as starting values for your reputation for various factions, which is important in this game, because I am not going to be playing a combat character. I'm going to be playing a merchant and or diplomat. Finally, you can customize your character's appearance. Note if you select another background, the appearance options will be reset. Once you're happy with these choices, click next to proceed to the next screen and allocate your character's stat and skill points. So let's pick the background. I think on the background, I'm going... there's a couple ways to do like diplomat types. There's praetors, which are like the Praetorian Guard. I guess it's martial and diplomacy. There's grifter, which is like thieves with persuasion. And then there's merchant, which I'm going to be doing. The merchants, behind every noble's power and every struggle for territory lies the goal of a merchant, respected and feared. No more than mere traders, merchants manipulate entire markets and those that depend upon them. People, information, and favors all have a price, but only the merchants know their true worth. And as you can see, you've got faction reputation, decent with all the houses, terrible with the guards and thieves, but good with the commercium. So I will be doing merchant. And as for what kind of character I will be doing, I don't know. Male or female? Try male here. We'll go with RPG. Oh, I can do the whole thing. RPG Crawler, there we go. We will be doing... give him a beard. I don't know, kind of hair. Yeah. I know I'm starting to thin because I'm getting old, but I ain't bald yet. We'll go with this. And I believe the color is okay for now. Alright. As for the rest, that's just the beard color. Alright. Let's go with this. This is the stats and skills. All backgrounds except Drifter have default stats. They merely suggestions for the selected background to give you an idea of what works. If you have a better idea, feel free to change the stats as you feel fit. There are 6 primary stats defining a character's innate physical and mental traits. That's your classic 6, I think. Strength, dexterity, constitution, perceptions, intelligence, and charisma. So the basic 6, but they're not on a 1 to 18 thing. So that's actually a good stat spread. Between them, they determine the starting combat and civics skill pools, bonus skill points awarded, derived stats, combat initiative, as well as modifiers for reputation. And they're also checked in dialogue and interactive text segments. Okay. For first playthrough, remember not to spread your skill points too thin. If you're playing a fighter, stick with 2 to 3 combat skills until you understand the system better and how to work with less. Combat odds are almost always against you, which might make you feel that you have to min-max to stand a chance. However, you can easily gain an edge by using different tools the game gives you. Everything matters: a tap-tight weapon, armor, support items, etc. If you're playing a non-combat character, which I will be, focus on the core stats and skills of the chosen profession. Merchants will benefit from high int and charisma, as well as persuasion, sweet size, and trading. So, yeah, that. The introductory vignette is a good test of your character's skills. It will tell you what skills are needed and what to expect in general. If you're having trouble with the combat, try the combat tutorial first. The hybrid characters, good at talking and fighting, are very hard to master on your first run, so I strongly suggest to go through the game with a specialist. I will be going through a specialist. Please note that once determined during character creation phase, your character's hit points will not be increased. Unlike many other RPGs, there are no character progression levels, so it's all skill and stat based. So I will be boosting his intelligence and his charisma. So right now you do have a decent dexterity. You have a really nice perception, but you're great at intelligence and charisma. So let's take a look. Etiquette looks like it's based on... I want to say these are... I don't know if these are based on anything. So I will be boosting nothing because my stat points are already assigned. My skill points aren't. So let's boost trading. Let's boost persuasion. Let's boost trading, persuasion, then etiquette. I will do trading, persuasion, and then streetwise. And what that'll do is that'll give me a good solid persuasion and trading, and just enough etiquette and streetwise to maybe get through things. I do like the notes, like under here, like the skill level tells you what you can do. So I've learned to convince those who want to believe me. And on trading, buy low, sell high, that's the trick. Okay. Should I drop one of these? I think it's important to understand, but to have at least a basic understanding of streetwise and etiquette. Let's go in terms of this. I want to say crossbow all the way. Because... well, maybe not all the way, but high as I can. And we will boost dodge, or we will boost critical strike. And that'll make me into a decent crossbow sniper, I hope. I am hoping. Alright, so I will accept that. And hopefully just pick up a crossbow soon enough. So character creation is not that bad. It is relatively quick, which there's a decent number of skills in this game too. This game is available on both GOG and Steam. I will put a link to one or the other below. Probably both. Maybe both. Alright. The world and an empire that once ruled it lie in ruins. Noble houses that lorded over provinces and commanded vast armies have been reduced to broken city-states. The Imperial Guard, remnants of the Imperial Army, act as the deterrent to open warfare. The knowledge of the old days has been all but forgotten. Hucksters peddle ancient wares of no value to the ignorant, and the lords seek and hoard artifacts that they barely understand. A fanatical mysticism is slowly gaining favor, and long-held resentments are rising to the surface. Some speculate that another war approaches, others actively encourage it. Times like these bring nothing but suffering for the common man. However, they offer a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to those determined to seize the moment and follow it to riches, power, glory, and often an untimely death. So, for those who don't know, Age of Decadence does take place after the fall of like a magical version of the Roman Empire, which is actually a increasingly interesting theme that I've seen a couple games take on. Your adventure starts in Teron, a small, crumbling town far away from the main tracks of travelers and caravans. It's been dying for the last 100 years or so, kept alive only by the combined efforts of its inhabitants. Broken stonework has been replaced by makeshift wooden construction, creating the impression that a new town is slowly emerging from the ruins of the old one. Much like Teron, the noble houses controlling the town has seen better days. Before the war that toppled the Empire and the devastation that ensued, House Daratad was one of the most powerful houses, but that was then, and times have changed. Today, it has barely enough strength to maintain its hold over the local guilds. And also, there is a lot of text in this game, so I gotta flex my reading. Hopefully I will not mispronounce too many words, although those who have watched my Let's Plays in the past know that is probably a vain hope. I have learned how to pronounce many things through reading, unfortunately. You make a living working for the Linos, the head of the Commercium. Growing up in Teron, you often passed by the trading plaza where you'd see the Merchants Guild, the only building that wasn't falling apart, but stood proudly, displaying the power and confidence of its masters. From the first time that you laid eyes upon it, you knew that it was where you wanted to be. The Commercium isn't as old as the other guilds. It doesn't boast of an impressive lineage, but then again, it doesn't need to. It was an upstart, a new player that managed to do well when everything else was struggling to make ends meet. In a few decades, a small but ambitious and ruthless trading company eliminated or absorbed everyone else in the trading game, becoming one of the most powerful guilds in the region. And that is the guild to which I have a fair amount. You are standing in the city. You're standing in the richly decorated halls of the Commercium. Everywhere you look, you see signs of wealth, from the silk and gold woven tapestries lining the walls to the gilded vases and intricately carved stonework. If money is power, then the interiors are designed to convey the message that the Commercium is a very powerful guild. And indeed, zooming out, I'm beginning to really like the layout here. Let's see how far away I can get. Oh, you can go pretty far away, so I better watch that. Okay. Let's take a look at... Oh no, I hope I can get back to where I was. Can I get back to where I was? Oh no! Okay, there's two camera modes. You can pan the free camera with WASD or the arrow keys. Rotate it by holding the middle mouse button, etc. I just did. Controls are the same as free camera. To move, right-click anywhere on the ground. Double-click to run. Interacting with an object like doors. Left-click on them. If you press tab, it'll hover over icons that you can deal with. How do I recenter it on my character? I guess over here, since this is a building with no roof. Alright, I'm looking at tab. Alright, I'm going to leave that on. Even though those icons are kind of annoying, I'll leave that on. Let's take a look at things. I got hit points here. I believe this is like all combat related, if I'm remembering from Sewer Rat or from Dungeon Rats. Character screen gives me my character stuff. I've already know it. Distribute your SP if you have any. I've already done that. Recommend that you try to... Okay, this is all from character creation. Let's take a look at inventory. Alright, so I start with merchant robes, a commercium ring. No, I don't want to remove that. And I start with a Pugio, a regular missile, and a hand crossbow. Nice. I also start with a well-cut ruby for money, as well as some coins, 300 of them. So I have a decent amount there. I think this is how you handle this. Alright. I probably should have read that. Now this game does have an alchemy system and a crafting system. So you can actually craft various things. I've got a buckler that I can make, I think. So there are 5 different metal types: bronze, iron, steel, blue steel, and sky metal. Craft an item. Select it from the list of available schematics. Apply any known technique. Select the metal type or component. Click a forge. You can also decompose weapons and armor to get the metal ingots and components. For example, if you find steel armor that weighs 35 pounds, but you'd rather forge yourself a steel sword and a lighter armor, you can melt the heavy armor, losing 20% of the metal and getting 28 pounds of steel, which you can then craft yourself a broadsword and a cuirass. 20 pounds. Okay, yeah, okay, so that's all good. I may look at crafting a little later, I don't know. Right now, I've got some things to do. Is there a... No ammo? What do you mean, no ammo? There we go. Now I have loaded ammo. But I don't need it. Linos is waiting inside, RPG Crawler. Alright. So let's open the door. Talk to Linos. Linos the Skull owed his nickname to his appearance, and his appearance to the decades of service to the Merchants Guild. It was that service that changed an enthusiastic youth with blue eyes and wavy auburn hair into a dispassionate old man with a bald head and a cold, almost colorless eyes, sitting deep within the dark sockets. Business to Linos was a board game. He moved pieces and executed strategies without taking any human elements into consideration. A good opportunity shouldn't be missed solely because some people were standing in the way. I can't believe that Gracious dared to come to Teron after all. That bastard, it's an insult. Gracious? The fat trader, remember? We caught him peddling his wares in Teron 6 months ago and threw him out. Well, he's back in town again. Talk to Nelios, the guild master of the assassins. Ask him to take care of this problem for us. Here's the money, along with a little extra for you. Make sure he tells Gracious that we wish to remind him that the fat bastard is still not welcome in this town before they cut his throat, or however it is that they kill people. So I get 225 to deal with the problem. What about... I'll talk to Nelios, yeah. I could ask about the laws, but let's face it, I don't care. In the halcyon days of the Empire, the Emperor commanded his own guard. Apart from their regular duties of protection for the Emperor, they were trained as experts in infiltration and assassination. Many political and military opponents would meet with the unexplainable misfortune or death in the rapture of the night, ensuring the long-standing stability of the Empire. After the fall, without a master to serve, the Guard disbanded into the chaos of the fallen Empire. Once outside, they found that even as the world lay in ruins, their peacekeeping services were in great demand. An assassin's order was established that later bore the proud name of the regiment, the Boatmen of Styx. You enter the Boatmen of Styx Guild. The business-like nature of this establishment is very clear. The hall is lacking any decoration or flamboyance, and the patrons are mostly silent. There are no guards anywhere in the room. Nelios, the guild master of Teron's assassins, always smiled. He smiled when he talked to people, as if he were just told a good joke, and he smiled when he had to kill, which in his mind was a joke life played on his victims. Since the dead are good at keeping secrets, few people thought of Nelios as an assassin, and the general consensus was that Nelios was strictly an administrator of the guild, rather than someone who killed for a living. Greetings, RPG Crawler. Who crossed your guild this time? I think this time. You think this is the first time we've been asked to eliminate unwarranted players in the trading game? After the Empire fell, there were dozens of little trading guilds and companies. It was a very busy time for us. Now, there is only one. Nelios gives you a polite thank you for the business smile. So, RPG Crawler, who crossed your guild this time? Gracious, the trader. I've heard of him. 200 Imperials and he will bother you no more. 200 Imperials? What are you going to do? Kill him twice? Because I'm a merchant. And of course, merchants got a merchant. Nelios chuckles. I've never seen a merchant who wouldn't try to knock the price down. Then again, I've never seen a merchant who could actually kill someone, so the price stays. If you want Gracious dead, pay 200 Imperials. If you don't want him dead, you go back to Linos and tell him that you've changed your mind. Come to think about it, maybe we should reconsider. After all, I'm sure that it's cheaper to convince Gracious to fall in line. Ah, I love that trading. No options just yet, because this is just the prelude. You'll make a fine merchant one day, Master RPG Crawler. 150 Imperials. You gain new insight into the liberal arts and trade, which can be used to increase your non-combat skills. 1 civil skill points gained. Pay 150 Imperials. Before I forget, tell Gracious that we wish to remind him that he's still not welcome in this town. Not a problem. Will there be anything else today, Master RPG Crawler? Pleasure doing business. Go rest and see Linos in the morning. Ah, RPG Crawler. Good job. Gracious won't trouble us again. As they say, death solves all problems. No man, no problem. Linos laughs good-naturedly. By the way, this is for you. He hands you a scroll. It looks like a map. That's the real reason why Gracious is dead. This old map made him bold and greedy, made him think he can return and buy favors with it. I thought you would appreciate the irony. Show the map to Feng. I'd like to know what it is. You gain new insight? 18 skill points gained. Go pay Feng a visit, because of course. You see a signpost that says don't sell priceless artifacts for nothing, come and see Feng first. Maybe you should pay Feng a visit about the map, and it immediately puts me over to the map. And I'm still kind of trying to get a sense for how this town is laid out. It doesn't look that big. You know what this reminds me of with these walls is the old Roman walls in Expedition Viking. Got a very similar layout. Although the houses here look more late Roman period rather than like Dark Ages era. I assume that's the trade house. Oh no, I did it again. I have neglected to... Is there a map? There is indeed a map. So the Merchant's Plaza and Feng are really close together, actually. So let's go to the Merchant's Plaza. Feng is like real close. There we go. Feng's... There we go. This doesn't... This looks like a person I can't talk to. Let's walk inside. In a world on its way downhill, the future lies in preserving the pre-war knowledge. Lore masters, the self-proclaimed experts in antiquity, are the front line of this trade. Digging through ruins, copying ancient manuscripts, trading bits and pieces of pre-war knowledge, and appraising anything that looks old. Feng, what do you want? So this is where a lore master might start. Let's talk to him. Feng came to Teron with a caravan 2 decades ago. Nobody knew where he came from or why, but he had the bitterness of a man soured by the memory of the life he lost. He was well versed in languages and the antiquities, but the town already had a lore master. Fortunately for Feng, this lore master soon fell sick and passed away, despite the best efforts of the local alchemist, who was quite puzzled by his symptoms. Shortly thereafter, Feng became the new lore master and even earned the favor of Lord Antidas after discovering a number of Duratan relics. What is it? He asked Feng with irritation, acknowledging your presence and putting down some mechanism he was studying. Sounds like Feng's got a bit of a history to him. Can you appraise something for me? Show him the trader's map. A wise choice. Many people sell very valuable items without realizing their true value. Let me see. This... I can't believe it. It can't be. Feng puts the map down, looking shocked. This, my friend, is an extremely valuable artifact. I'll be honored to research for you, but it will cost you 50 Imperials. Trading success? 50 Imperials. If you're good as you are greedy, I'm in luck. 20 coins, and I will forget the insult. 25 and we have a deal. Here is the money. Now tell me about the map. Just getting them trades on every single time. Just gonna build my bank account up. It is the fabled map of Thora-Goth. It shows the way to the Magi's artifacts that were buried when the war ended to prevent them from falling into the wrong hands. I've heard about this map, but never thought that one day I'd be holding it in my hands. Feng pulls out a magnifying glass. Something is written at the bottom in the glyph language. The Eye of Thora-Goth will show you the way, he reads slowly. The Eye of Thora-Goth, whispered Feng, looking at you with widened eyes. He goes to one of the chests and starts digging through its contents until he finds what he is looking for. A large, round, tricolor crystal framed in gold. The center of the crystal is completely black, giving it the appearance of an eye. I found it long ago in the ruins west from here. It was shining softly and warm to the touch. That's how the gem will guide you. It will glow brighter and brighter the closer you get. Now, I'm too old to go with you, but I'll let you borrow the eye for 100 Imperials. I know that I can trust you to bring it back when you find the treasure of the Magi. Okay, so I will pay him because I don't have the option, but I do have plenty of Imperials. Feng counts the money twice, then carefully hangs the Eye of Thora-Goth around your neck. The crystal feels heavy and warm. Somehow, you feel different. Don't forget to bring it back, reminds Feng, reluctantly letting go of the eye. Talk to Lord Antidas. He will know what to do next. So now I need to see the noble lord. Before you go, RPG Crawler, I have a favor to ask. Lord Antidas has invited another lore master to Teron. While I'd welcome a chance to work with a fellow lore master, Cassius, the new lore master, wouldn't tolerate a second opinion and will surely get rid of me. I'm too old to beg, RPG Crawler, but I'm begging you to help me. Get rid of Cassius for me and I'll pay you well. He's probably at the inn already, so don't waste any time. How much will you pay me? 50 Imperials. Trading. I wonder what you'll do in the new lore once the new lore master settles in. I've heard that it's hard to start begging at such an old age. Fine, I'll double it. 100 Imperials. Just get it done. Thank you for my money back. I like to think that he just slides the money right back across to me. And yes, I'm loving this trading game. Alright, so I'm going to go out here, but I have got skill points to distribute. So let's take a look at my skills. Oops, that's a journal screen. There is a journal. Nice, nice. So I need to show the map to Lord Antidas. I need to talk to Linos. And I need to get rid of caches. So let's take a look at my skills. Okay. So I've got 30 skill points. I am going to boost trading a little bit. Actually, do I want to boost persuasion, maybe? I've seen more checks for trading than I have for persuasion. I'm going to boost that other 10 into etiquette. Alright. And that looks good so far. So, I have to talk to a couple people. The tavern's not far away. The tavern's just down here. So let's go over here. Now, you can fast travel in this game, which I appreciate. You see Cato's Tavern, a drinking establishment popular with people who call the wrong part of town their home. The tavern is full of people laughing, arguing, and drinking. At the back of the tavern, piles of loot sit atop tables, waiting to be counted and divvied. This is the wrong place. Get rid of Cassius. He's at the inn. This is a tavern, not the inn. Okay, my bad. Wrong spot. Okay, so the inn is over here. I'll just fast travel to it. You see the local inn. It's a large old building in the middle of town. The sign in front of it welcomes weary travelers and offers an impressive variety of services at reasonable rates. Got that army recruitment poster. What does this sign say? Welcome to the last meal. Eat, drink, one low price. Yes, and I will be censoring some of the things in here, just because of YouTube. The inn is full of guests. After spending weeks and sometimes months on the road, they have an unhealthy appetite for cheap wine, stove-cooked meals, and women willing to share their beds for a few coins. So who do we have? We have an alchemist. We have a storyteller. And we have Cassius. Let's talk to the storyteller first. You see the inn's patrons begin to gather around a strangely garbed man who paces in circles, muttering. A murmur of expectation runs through the room, and sure enough, the man stops his pacing, turns, and with a dramatic flourish cries out, "A tale!" All are quiet now, but the man's rich, deep voice rolls out to fill the silence. A tale for tonight's entertainment. And what a tale. History itself will unfold before your very eyes. A tale of mystery and wonder. Come one, come all, and listen. And I will stay a while and listen. The smile drops from the storyteller's face. His brow gathers into a frown, and he begins to speak in a low, somber tone. The Great War The Great War raged across the Empire, the frenzied Kantari burning and looting their way across the land, our brave legions fighting to stem the tide. But, though they could hold the Kantari themselves, even they were no match for the terrible demons the Kantari had brought with them from their homeland. Our loyal soldiers were slaughtered by the thousands. The Emperor's magi sought to counter this terrible might of the demons with their magics, but even though they worked feverishly to devise new spells, it was of no use. The demons shrugged off every incantation the Magi hurled at them. Desperate for a solution, the Emperor summoned Abu Hassan ibn Haddad al-Sarabi, the first of the Magi, to his side in the holiest of chambers, deep under the palace. "O learned one, tell me," said the Emperor. "Tell me that you have found a solution, O wisest of my servants. Tell me that you have discovered some weakness in the accursed Kantari demons. Tell me how we can destroy these monsters who feel no pain, no fear, who never tire or rest." And Abu Hassan ibn Haddad did stroke his beard gravely. The storyteller stops to mime Ibn Haddad's gesture, folding his arms, looking thoughtful and stroking an imaginary beard to the chuckles of the audience before continuing, and said to his emperor, "We must seek allies." The emperor looked at Ibn Haddad in bewilderment. Allies? What allies can we call upon? The Empire stretches from coast to coast. All men except the steppe nomads rally to fight under my banner. There are no more allies to call on. Mortal allies, yes. But there are other worlds than this one, my Emperor. Higher than the eye can see and further than any man can travel, there are strange and bewildering realms. Realms for which the rigid laws of our reality are merely suggestions. If we could persuade the beings who reside in these realms to come to our aid... The Emperor sat for a moment, considering, but always he returned to that inescapable truth, that the Empire was dying around him. How many of these beings would answer our call, and would they be enough? The demons are terrible in their power. I have stridden the paths of the future in my dreams, and I have seen 3 who would come to our aid. Together, their might is a match for the demons, answered Ibn Haddad confidently. The Emperor cast his hands in the air, hope alight in his face for the first time. Truly the world is wondrous. You have my blessing, Magus. Go forth and call these allies. All the resources of the Empire at your disposal. Ibn Haddad returned to his tower and once again traveled the paths of the future. For 3 days and 3 nights he quested. When at last he emerged, he summoned a great conclave of his brothers. There he ordered them to build a great doorway, a path into the realm that can't be reached by land or by sea. Working together, the Magi built the doorway that would have taken mortal men months in mere weeks, though many died of the exertion. When it was done, Ibn Haddad blessed the doorway himself and ordered one of the brothers through as an emissary to the other realms. Patiently they waited for their emissary to return, and return he did a day later. But when they attempted to talk to him, he seemed unable to recognize anyone and had lost the very power of speech itself. Undeterred, Ibn Haddad sent forth another emissary, then a third when the same fate befell that one, but it was of no use. None could speak of what they had seen through the doorway. At last, Ibn Haddad sent them away and returned to his tower to travel the paths of the future one last time. When he returned to his brothers, he appeared visibly aged, bent and leaning on his staff of office. But he had an answer. He had his brothers forge him a helmet of the finest crystal, weaving potent magic through and around it. Then Ibn Haddad did take the helmet and place it upon his own head, and though his brothers begged him not to, he did stride through the gate himself. The storyteller stops for a moment, surveying his audience. All eyes are on him, the audience held rapt by his story. He smiles slightly, and then continues. For 7 days and 7 nights his brethren held vigil before the doorway. But on the 8th day, as most had given him up for lost, Ibn Haddad returned. When his brothers questioned him as to why he had been gone so long, he seemed shocked that so much time had passed. But thoughts of the demons weighed heavily upon him. He brushed aside their questions and announced that he had made a deal with those who dwell in the darkness on the other side of the doorway. The lords of that place had agreed to send 3 of their number to aid the Empire. In exchange, 7 times 7 men would go through the doorway to honor the lords in their realm. 7 times 7 were chosen to follow Ibn Haddad back through the doorway to the otherworldly realms, and true to their word, a week later he returned with 3 of the lords accompanying him. Of the other men who accompanied him, there was no sign. The storyteller stops talking and bows, looking expectantly at the audience. "The war!" yells one of the guests. "Tell us about the war! Tell us how the lords of the other realms cast down the Kantari demons." The storyteller straightens again and raises an eyebrow at the man, smiling like a benevolent uncle teaching lessons to a favored nephew. 100 tales I could tell you of the Great War, and still we would have but scratched the surface. Some sages will tell you that the old empire was destined to fall from the day it was born, and at the very moment of its ending was written in the stars themselves. The empires and kingdoms, like mortal men, grow tall and enjoy their time in the sun for but a brief moment before they too must pass, to make way for those that follow. Thus sages will tell you that the Kantari kingdom was born for but a single purpose, to be the instrument of fate and bring about the destruction of the old empire when the time was right. That by growing stronger, so did we force the Kantari themselves to grow stronger. For it was their destiny to bring us down, you see, and fate ensured that they were strong enough to do so. That is why the demons came. Our legions could hold the savage Kantari at bay, but even they couldn't fight fate, couldn't fight the demons who shrugged off blade and arrow, who slaughtered all that were sent against them, countless lives. That is why, though Ibn Haddad and his allies came and defeated the demons, the old empire could not be saved. The old empire had already fallen, for that was always her fate, to die there that day, in blood and fire. And so, that is the background. This game has a really nice bit of lore building so far. So I can ask him more, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to leave. And can I talk to him again? Yeah, okay. I can ask him more questions a little bit later. Let's talk to the alchemist first. Okay, you see a man in his 40s. At first glance, it seems as though he stares at you unfalteringly, but then you realize he has a glass eye. His face and hands are covered with burn scars, and unless you're mistaken, he's missing a couple of fingers on his left hand. Never seen a real alchemist before, he asks the man, and his voice raspy and rough. What do you want? I can learn about alchemy here, but I'm not going to just yet, because I am actually beginning to run short of time for this episode. So what I will do is I will stop here, and I will talk to Cassius next time. For now, this has been the RPG Crawler with the Age of Decadence. As always, if you like what you've seen, keep an eye out here for more RPG content. Until next time, take care and goodbye.